So the other day, I was having a talk with my coworker about upcoming movies, and I said I was excited to see the new Superman movie because I like James Gunn's work. Marvel really dropped the ball with him, and I'm happy to see DC pick him up and go, this man is in charge now. And we were talking, and I said, Superman's going to be a good movie. And he admitted to me that Superman isn't his favorite character. And I understood. Of course I understood. Because, Superman is one of those characters where it's like, he can do everything. But he's always getting, a crap beaten out of him. Which is true. But that's because Superman has to pull his punches constantly. It was a great scene from the old Justice League show where he's fighting Darkseid. And he's like, this is a rare opportunity for me to stop holding back. Because it feels like I'm living in a world made of cardboard. And Justice League was an amazing cartoon. Definitely a goated series. But it also put into perspective just how much Superman holds back. To say that he lives in a world made of cardboard. When you can bend steel, casually break brick walls, just your pinky finger essentially. It led me to explaining that yes, Superman is very powerful. However, Superman has to limit himself. And that's where good storytelling comes from. So, I saw an example of this on, I believe it was Reddit, where it's like Superman can punch at 15% of his power, gauge his opponent, and then jump up to 25 to defeat them real quick. That's how Superman functions and operates. And that's what people don't like, is that as soon as Superman gets serious, the fight is over. Which is why evil Superman comics do so well, is because they show him having less restraint, and as a result of that, they show him actually using his powers just for evil instead. And I admit it, those are good stories. There is no doubt about that. I like Injustice. I like Superman Red Son. Those are great Elseworld stories. However, my favorite stories are from the main line. And it's actually the stories where they don't focus on the super and they focus on the man. Because that dates back to knowing Superman's origins is that he was created by two Jewish immigrants who felt alienated in a world they didn't understand, in a world they didn't belong in. So they created Superman, who of course was an alien, comes to Earth, but is raised by humans. So he picks up all of their values and principles. Now, the core concept of Superman in everything has always been that he is a simple solution to complex problems. Right. The solar system's in trouble? Okay, we're gonna tow it away. Oh, gotta sneeze, blows away the solar system. Gotta fix that. Superman has always just been the definition of overpowered. And I know that a lot of people don't like that. And what I've come to realize over the years is that Superman isn't a bad character. He's just had a lot of bad writers. Because they choose to focus on, the super part. Which is great. Everybody loves that part. Everybody loves seeing him, beat someone to snap General Zod's neck. And I'm not just talking the movie, he does it in the comics too. People need to stop overreacting about that. It happened. It's happened multiple times in the comics. Like, General Zod dies pretty often. But back to Superman. The best stories are the ones that focus more on the man. Because when he was created to be a simple solution to problems, he didn't just go around, punching aliens out or saving planes from falling out of the skies. He took petty crimes too. He stopped muggings. He interfered in domestic violence. I believe some of the best stories is the one where he lost his cape and a kid found it. And he used it to gather up the courage to stand up to his abusive father. And when Superman shows up and takes the cape back, after it just defended the boy, because, well, it's still a Kryptonian cape, blanket technically. He says that he was a brave child for doing such a thing, stand up to his drunken asshole father. He didn't say asshole. He's Superman. He doesn't do that. And that's the part that I feel that so many writers, directors, and even nowadays some comic book writers are missing. Is that Superman is of the people. Is why one of the biggest things that he ever did was when Lex Luthor became president, he renounced his American citizenship because he couldn't be under just Lex Luthor. He couldn't be just America's hero. He had to be the world's hero. He had to be everyone's hero. And that's what makes Superman so compelling, is that his powers never diminish. He is never a nerfed character. He is a character whose powers change, whose strengths change, based upon what he needs them to do. And it gets terrifying when he stops pulling his punches. Like when he fought the Terrible Five, I want to say their villain names were. And he stopped holding back, and he beat the living hell out of them all in the blink of an eye. And then focused his laser vision through the pupil of the last one and destroyed the gland in his brain that gave him his psychic abilities. And there was nothing any of them could do against him. And it was a perfect example of why Superman has to hold back. Because if he steps over that line, if he goes, I can't hold back anymore, and he just starts dropping bodies, realistically, there's no stopping him. And everyone knows it. And before people are like, well, Batman did it. Batman also knows how to exploit every single weakness of every single character. We'll get to Batman on a different subject, on a different video. This one's about Superman. But Superman has always been the symbol. He's always been the one who stands above others. Not because he's better and superior, but because he has to lead by example. And I want to see that in the new DCU. I want to see James Gunn take this character and say, no, he needs to do the right thing. He needs to stand on a moral high ground to make sure that everyone else can follow him. Anyway, that's just my little character analysis on Superman.